If you think great products sell themselves, think again. In saturated markets, being good isn't good enough. Everyone's good. What separates winners from the noise is strategy, speed, and knowing exactly where to hit. This guide breaks down proven real-world tactics to help you cut through the clutter, get noticed, and actually grow, ready to stop competing and start dominating. So, let's begin. You have a great idea, you believe in it, but then you look around, there are already dozens, maybe hundreds of others doing the same thing, selling the same product, offering the same service, talking to the same customers. And the first thing that creeps in is doubt. This is what people mean when they talk about saturated markets. It sounds like a closed door. A market so full of players that there is no room left. No chance to succeed. But here is the truth. That idea of saturation, it is not the end of the road. It is just the beginning of a different kind of journey. Saturated market is not dead. It is alive. It is full of energy. It is proof that there is demand, that people are interested, that there is money moving around. You are not walking into a desert. You're walking into a crowded room. And yes, that means noise, that means competition, but it also means opportunity. And if you know what to look for, you can find your place in it. Look at how coffee shops work. There are already so many, from big chains to tiny cafes on quiet streets. Yet every year, new ones open and succeed. Why? Because they find something others missed. Maybe it is a better location. Maybe it is friendlier service. Maybe it is just a feeling they give their customers, something small but real. Take Airbnb. When they started, hotels had already filled the world. Every city, every town, every airport. People said there was no room for anything new. But Airbnb saw something different. They saw people who had spare rooms, people who wanted a more personal place to stay. They didn't invent travel, they just noticed a need no one else was solving, and they built their success on that. So how do you spot these chances? You have to listen closely, you have to pay attention to what frustrates people. When customers complain, they are giving you clues. When they say things like, "I wish this was easier," or "I hate how long this takes," or "Why is this always so expensive?" they are pointing to cracks in the wall. Those cracks are where you can squeeze in. Another way to see it is this. Think of a crowded street. Dozens of food trucks are lined up. People are buying, eating, talking. It looks like there is no room for one more, but then someone pulls up with something fresh, something no one else has, maybe a new flavor, maybe a friendlier smile, and slowly a line starts forming in front of that truck. That is how it works. You do not have to be wildly different. You just need to be clearly better in one way. Fear keeps most people out of saturated markets. They think the competition is too strong, that all the customers are already taken, that they are too late. But fear is just the brain's way of saying pay attention. And if you use that fear the right way, it becomes your edge. Because while others are backing away, you are stepping forward. Carefully, thoughtfully, and that gives you a head start. Here is another secret. The big players in any market are often slow. They have systems, they have rules. They cannot pivot quickly. They cannot change easily. And that means they miss things. They miss trends. They miss customer pain. They miss moments. You, on the other hand, are small, agile. You can listen and respond fast. You can move without waiting for permission. That is not a weakness. That is a weapon. Let us talk about mindset. Most people think of saturated markets like a locked door. They say, "There's no room." They stop right there. But the winners, they ask a better question. They say, "How can I be better?" And they keep asking until they find an answer. Better does not always mean cheaper. It does not mean fancier. Better means more in tune, more thoughtful, more useful. Maybe it means clearer language. Maybe it means faster service. Maybe it means caring more. Better is not always big. Often, better is simple. Imagine two bakeries on the same street. One has more products, more colors, more signs. The other has fewer items, but each one is fresh, warm, made that morning. Which one wins? The one that delivers what people truly care about, the one that understands what matters. That is the core of this chapter. Saturation does not mean you are too late. It means the demand is real. It means people want what you are thinking of offering. And that gives you a map. You are not guessing, you are refining, you are not inventing the wheel, you are making a better version of it. Look at the ride-sharing space. Uber was already huge. Then came Lyft. Everyone said it was crazy to enter that game. But Lyft leaned into being the friendlier option, the human option. Drivers were treated better, passengers felt safer. It was not a different idea. It was a better experience. That is all it takes. When you look at a saturated market, you must change your lens. Do not see it as a wall. See it as proof. Proof that people want this, and that if you do it with more care, more clarity, more creativity, they will notice. So here is what you need to remember. A saturated market is a signpost. It tells you that the path is worth walking, but it also tells you to be smart, to observe closely, to care deeply. Because winning in a crowded space is not about shouting louder. It is about speaking more clearly. Listen to your customers, watch how they behave, pay attention to what annoys them, what delights them. That is where the gold is. The gaps are not always obvious. Sometimes they are small, sometimes they are emotional, but they are there. And they are real. You might think you are too late, that someone already thought of your idea, but they didn't think of it your way. They didn't bring your story, your voice, your care. That is your angle. That is your edge. The world is full of sameness. What people crave is connection, authenticity, something real. If you can give them that, you do not need a giant budget. You do not need a fancy office. You just need to solve a real problem in a way that makes people feel heard. And remember, markets change fast. What worked yesterday will not always work tomorrow. So stay alert, stay curious, keep learning. That is how you stay ahead, not by being the loudest, but by being the most aware. It starts with a quiet kind of curiosity, a way of seeing that goes beyond the surface. You do not need a loud voice or a flashy pitch. You need the mind of a detective. You need to look where others forget to look. In every crowded market, there are cracks, tiny gaps between what is offered and what people truly want. Most people walk right past them. They see noise. You are going to see patterns. They see competition. You will see clues. That is the Sherlock Holmes approach. Not rushing, not guessing, but investigating, watching, asking, digging deeper. And slowly, piece by piece, you find what others missed. Start with your competition. Not to copy them, but to understand them. Visit their websites. Walk into their stores. Order from them. Call their support lines. Ask yourself what feels off. What takes too long? What feels cold? What feels confusing? These small things matter more than people think. Look at their reviews, especially the bad ones. Those are gold. When people complain, they are handing you a map. Look for the things they say over and over. Maybe they hate the packaging. Maybe the app is too slow. Maybe no one answers their questions. These are pain points, and every pain point is a chance. Now talk to customers. Ask them simple questions. Ask what they wish was easier. Ask what they like the least. Let them talk. Do not interrupt. People want to be heard, and when they are, they tell you the truth. You can also look in quiet places, online forums, comment sections, tiny subreddits. late-night tweets. These places are full of people being
Honest, not selling, not promoting, just sharing what bugs them.
Those moments are clues too. Once you gather enough, start sorting what you find. Use a notebook, use sticky notes, whatever works. The goal is to see patterns, not one complaint, but 10, not one slow feature, but dozens. That is where the gap lies. That is where your chance to shine begins. Now take a step back. Ask what is missing. Not in terms of product, but in terms of feeling. Do people feel frustrated, rushed, ignored? Those are emotions. And they are often the real problem, even more than a bad feature or a late delivery. Let us take a look at a real story. There was a small company called Warby Parker. They started in a market ruled by giants. The eyewear industry was owned by huge names. Everyone said there was no room. But Warby Parker did not try to beat the big guys at their own game. Instead, they studied them like detectives. They saw that buying glasses was frustrating, expensive, confusing. No one liked going into stores with bright lights and sales pressure. So Warby Parker made it simple. You could try on glasses at home. You could buy online. You could save money. They found a gap, not in the product, but in the experience. This is how the detective mindset works. You stop thinking like a seller. You start thinking like a buyer. You feel what they feel. You notice what they notice. You use their frustration as fuel. Big companies miss this, not because they are lazy, but because they are too big, too slow, too focused on spreadsheets and meetings. They cannot see the small cracks anymore. They are looking from too high up. You have the advantage. You are close to the ground. You can see the details. You can feel the pulse of the market. That is your power. To go deeper, try using a tool called a customer journey map. It is a simple way to see the full experience from the customer's side, from the first moment they hear about a brand, to when they try to buy, to when they need help after. For each step, ask what they are thinking, what they are feeling, what they are doing. Look for the parts that feel slow, or confusing, or cold. That is where you can do better. Let us take a different example. Think about ride sharing. When Uber came along, they made it easier to get a ride, but there were still pain points. Some riders felt unsafe, some drivers felt disrespected. Then Lyft entered the scene. Their angle was kindness, a little more human touch. They smiled more. They treated drivers better. They found their own white space. You do not have to invent something new. You just have to find what is missing in what already exists. That is your white space. That is your opportunity. It is not always a product. Sometimes it is tone. Sometimes it is speed. Sometimes it is just clarity. Go further. Look at pricing. Are people confused about what they are paying? Look at support. Are people getting help when they need it? Look at policies. Are they fair? Are they clear? These are not small things. These are the building blocks of trust. Even something as small as a return policy can be a breakthrough. Zappos built $1 billion business on making returns easy. They saw that people hated buying shoes online because they were afraid they would not fit, so they made returns painless. They solved a fear, not with technology, just with empathy. That is the heart of the Sherlock Holmes approach. Empathy, curiosity, patience. You are not just looking for a business idea. You are trying to understand people, and when you do, you can serve them in ways no one else does. When you finally spot your gap, take your time. Do not rush to build everything. Test small, talk to people, ask if your solution makes sense. See how they react. Not just with words, but with emotion. Do their eyes light up? Do they ask how soon it will be ready? That is how you know you are onto something, and if you are not quite there yet, that is okay. Keep digging, keep listening, keep asking. Sometimes the best ideas take a little longer to uncover, but once you find that white space, it changes everything. You do not need to be the first. You do not need to be the biggest. You just need to see what others do not. That is what detectives do. They notice what others miss. They connect the dots. So walk into your market like Holmes would walk into a crime scene, calm, focused, watching everything, listening closely. You will see things others cannot. You will hear things they overlook. And when you put it all together, you will not just have a business. You will have a solution, a real answer to a real problem. And people will notice because people are always looking for someone who finally gets it. That is your role now, the quiet observer, the sharp thinker, the one who listens, the one who understands. People remember what feels different, what makes them stop, what makes them feel something. In a world full of choices, being different is more powerful than being better. Better is hard to measure. Different is easy to feel. Imagine walking into a bakery. One smells like every other bakery. It looks the same, sounds the same. It offers the same cookies and cakes as the one down the street. Now imagine the second bakery. It plays quiet jazz. The baker greets you by name. There is a story behind each item. One is made from a recipe passed down for generations. One uses a secret ingredient found only in one small town. The prices are the same, but you remember the second one. That is the magic of standing out. Your unique selling point is not just what you sell. It is how you sell. It is the feeling you create. It is the story you tell. And most of all, it is the truth about you that no one else can claim. Being unique is not about being louder. It is not about shouting into the void. It is about being clear, clear on who you are, clear on what you offer, clear on why it matters. In crowded markets, people do not have time to study every option. They make fast choices based on gut, based
on trust, based on what feels right. Your job is to help that feeling happen. You do this by knowing your difference and showing it with confidence. Let us take a real example. Think about Dollar Shave Club. When they launched, the market was packed. Big names like Gillette ruled the shelves. There seemed to be no room. But Dollar Shave Club was not trying to
be better in the usual way. They were different. Their tone was funny. Their videos were bold. They made shaving feel simple and human and honest. That was their angle. They were not the premium brand. They were the down-to-earth brand. And it worked. Now think of Glossier, a makeup company in a space filled with giants. Yet Glossier found success by talking to customers like friends. They built a brand around natural beauty, real people, soft light. Their look was clean. Their tone was kind. They were not louder. They were different. And they built a tribe of loyal fans. That is the power of owning your space. To find your unique angle, start by looking inward. What do you care about? What makes you proud? What made you start this in the first place? Your story matters because people connect to stories more than features. Then look outward. What are others missing? What feels cold? What feels fake? What do people complain about? Where do they feel lost? That is your opportunity. Sometimes your uniqueness is in your product. Sometimes it is in your service. Sometimes it is in your tone or your packaging or your process. There is no single formula. The only rule is this: it must be honest. It
must be yours. If it can be copied easily, it is not strong enough. Your magic must come from your values, your way of seeing the world, your reason for showing up. Let us go back in time for a moment. There was a time when buying books online
Seemed strange. People liked bookstores, but Amazon came in with something different. Not just cheaper prices, not just faster shipping, but a system, a way to make buying books feel effortless. They saw something others missed. That convenience could be a story in itself. That was their uniqueness. At that time, no one else offered that. Look at Patagonia, a clothing brand in a crowded market. Their uniqueness is not in their jackets or pants. It is in their mission. They speak about nature, about care, about taking responsibility. They repair old clothes for free. They ask customers to buy less. That sounds crazy in retail, but it makes sense for them. It builds trust, and it shows what they believe in. That is why their customers stay. You do not need to be big to be bold. Even a one-person brand can be unforgettable if the message is clear. One key way to show your difference is through story. Not just any story, your real story. How did you begin? What problem were you trying to solve? What were you frustrated with? What changed when you tried your way? These details matter. People want to feel something real. When your story matches your product, people notice. When your values are in your work, people care. You do not need a perfect brand. You need an honest one. Now let us talk about voice. Voice is how you sound when you write, when you post, when you speak to customers. It is your tone, your rhythm, your style. A strong voice builds connection. A soft voice can be powerful if it is true. A bold voice works if it is consistent. The key is to sound like you, and only you. Think of Innocent Drinks, a smoothie company, but they write like a friend. Their labels are funny. Their website makes people smile. That is their edge, not in the drink itself, but in how they show up. Your magic might not be flashy. It might be quiet. That is okay. It just has to be clear. Clear to you and clear to your customer. To build what no one else has, you do not need to invent a whole new thing. You just need to see something others ignore and make it shine. Listen closely to your audience. They will tell you what they want. They will tell you what others fail to give them. These moments are gifts. Ask your early customers what they liked most. Ask why they chose you. Their answers are clues. Often they will describe your uniqueness better than you can. Use their words. Use their emotion. That is how you learn what sets you apart. The more you refine your angle, the stronger your presence. And the stronger your presence, the easier it is for the right people to find you. The best kind of uniqueness is not forced, it is felt. It is part of your DNA, part of your process. When people say things like, "Only you could have done that," you know you are getting close, and when competitors try to copy, they fall short. Because they do not have your story, your values, your way of being. Remember this. People do not choose the best brand on paper. They choose the one that feels right, the one that speaks to them, the one they trust. Your job is to be that brand, not by shouting louder, but by showing up truer. You have something no one else has, a way of seeing, a way of serving, a way of caring. That is your unique selling magic. Use it well. Imagine walking into a giant supermarket, shelves everywhere, hundreds of choices. You go to the cereal aisle. You just want something simple, but there are so many brands, so many flavors, too many options. You feel overwhelmed. So you leave with nothing. Or maybe you just grab the one you already know, the one that feels familiar. Now imagine walking into a tiny shop that sells only cereal.
But They do one thing differently. They ask you questions. What flavors do you like? Do you like it crunchy? Do you want something healthy? Do you want it to taste like childhood? Then they offer you one choice, the perfect one. You buy it, you love it.
You come back. That is the difference between trying to serve everyone and focusing on one. When you try to serve everyone, you water yourself down. You lose your edge. You speak in safe words. You become just another option. But when you focus, you sharpen your message. You speak clearly. You connect deeply. You become the obvious choice for the right people. People do not want generic. They want specific. They want someone who gets them, someone who speaks their language, someone who sees their world. This is where the laser focus strategy comes in. Being the big fish in a small pond means you choose your pond carefully. You do not need a huge audience. You need the right one. The people who feel like you are made for them. Think of it this way: a big fish in a small pond gets noticed. A small fish in a big pond gets lost. You want to be known, not to everyone, just to those who matter most. Let us look at a real example. There was a company that sold shoes, not just any shoes, shoes for nurses. They were soft, durable, easy to clean, and they were made for people who stood all day. And that company is called Clove. It does not try to be Nike. It does not try to be Adidas. It focuses only on healthcare workers, and it works because they know exactly who they are for. Another example is Beard Brand. They sell grooming products, but not to everyone, just to bearded men who care about style. They do not chase the entire market. They speak directly to their group, their tribe, and that focus makes them stand out. These brands are not trying to win the whole world. They are trying to win the right corner of it. That is how they grow. So how do you find your perfect customer group? You start by thinking about who you can serve best, not just who needs your product, but who will love it, who will talk about it, who will feel like it was made just for them. Think about age, think about location, think about hobbies, think about lifestyle, think about values, then go deeper. What keeps them up at night? What do they complain about? What do they wish existed? These questions help you understand what they care about, what they are searching for. If you are not sure, talk to people.
Ask them, listen, watch what they do, read what they post, look at what they buy. Their actions will show you who they are. Then, once you know who your ideal customer is, commit to them. Ignore the rest. This is hard for many people. We are wired
To want more people, more reach, more followers, but more does not always mean better. Trying to please everyone waters down your message. Trying to reach everyone spreads you thin. Trying to fit in everywhere makes you forgettable. But when you pick your people and go deep, magic happens. You can speak to them clearly. You can serve them better. You can become part of their life. Think about a general doctor. They can help a lot of people, but they are not the first choice for a heart problem or a skin issue or a child's illness. Now think about a heart surgeon. They do one thing, but they do it so well that people come from far away. They pay more, they trust more because specialists feel safer. The same is true in business. Specialists win trust
faster. They charge more, they build loyalty, they grow through word of mouth because people say you have to go to them.
They really get you. So your next step is to become a specialist in your small pond. Define your offer clearly. Make it simple, make it sharp. If you are a fitness coach, maybe you train new mums, not everyone. If you are a web designer, maybe you design only for writers, not every industry. If you sell candles, maybe they are made just for people with allergies, not all candle lovers. This does not mean you turn others away. It just means your message is made for someone specific, and that person will feel it. Your words will sound like home to them. Your product will feel like a solution, and your business will feel like a friend. Now take that focus and build your brand around it. Use the language your customer uses. Show,
Up in the places they hang out, create content they care about.
share stories that reflect their world. When you do this well, you build something bigger than a business. You build a community. People will not just buy from you. They will follow you, share you, defend you, all because you made them feel seen. Let us take one more story. There is a company called Tiny Hands. They make jewelry shaped like food. That sounds odd, but their target market is very clear. People who love quirky, handmade, colorful items. Their necklaces look like waffles and cupcakes and bacon, and their customers love it because it speaks to them, because it does not try to be cool for everyone. It is proudly weird, proudly focused. This is what laser focus does. It builds identity, it builds brand love, it builds strong word of mouth, and from there you can grow. You can add new products, you can test new groups.
But you start small.
You start sharp, because big things come from deep roots. So remember this, trying to reach everyone means you connect with no one. Focusing on a narrow group means you connect deeply. And that deep connection is what builds real businesses. Be the big fish in your chosen pond, not the small fish lost in the ocean. Pick your people. Serve them well. Grow with them. That is how real success begins. There is a story that happens in business again and again. A person has a big idea. Everyone tells them it will not work. They say the market is full. They say it is too risky. But the person does it anyway. And not only does it work, it changes everything. These are the stories of blue ocean breakthroughs. To understand what that means, we need to look at the idea in simple terms. Imagine a red ocean. It is full of boats. All the boats are fighting over the same fish. There is noise, there is pushing, there is blood in the water. That is what most markets feel like. Everyone is doing the same thing, competing on price, trying to be faster, or better, or louder. Now imagine a blue ocean, calm, clear, wide open. No boats, no fighting, just fresh space. That is what happens when you create a new market, when you do something so different that you leave the fight behind, you stop competing, you start leading. That is what blue ocean strategy means. It means you do not fight for a piece of what already exists. You build something new, a space where the rules are yours, where you decide what value looks like, and most of all, where people look at you and say, I have never seen anything like that before. This is not just theory. It has been done many times. Take Cirque du Soleil. Before them, circuses were struggling. The animals, the clowns, the same acts for years, but Cirque du Soleil changed the game. They removed the animals. They added music, dance, art, and theatre. It was not a circus. It was something else, a new kind of show, a blue ocean. Now think about Nintendo. When everyone was building powerful gaming consoles, they created the Wii. It was not about speed or graphics. It was about movement, about fun, about families. It was not meant for the same gamers as before. It reached people who never played video games, a new audience, a new space, a blue ocean. So how do you find these new spaces? You start by asking different questions. Most people ask, how can I beat my competition? That is a red ocean question. A blue ocean question sounds like this. What do people want that no one is giving them? What would make this easier, more fun, more human, more useful? What are people doing in a hard way that could be done in a simple way? Sometimes the answer is right in front of you. Look at Airbnb. Before they came along, travelers had two main choices, hotels or staying with friends. But what about people with extra space? What about travelers who wanted a more local feel? Those two groups were there the whole time. But no one had connected them. Until Airbnb. And when they did, they created a whole new category. This is the secret. Blue oceans are not always about big inventions. They are often about new combinations, about looking at what already exists and seeing a new way to put it together. To do this well, you need to observe closely. Watch how people live. What frustrates them? What takes too long? What costs too much? What feels awkward? What feels outdated? These moments are clues. Now turn those clues into ideas. Start small. Look for patterns. Are people making the same complaints? Are they doing workarounds? Are they using tools in ways they were not meant to be used? That is usually a sign that something is missing, something you can build. And remember, blue oceans do not come from copying. They come from noticing. Sometimes they come from asking. One brave question: what if we did the opposite? What if we cut something everyone else includes? What if we added something no one expects? What if we aimed at people no one else is serving? Let us pause here and look at a case that changed. And industry. Southwest Airlines did not try to be like other airlines. They removed in-flight meals. They had no seat numbers. They used only one type of plane. They focused on one thing: low cost, fast service, friendly attitude. It was not luxury, it was not fancy, but it was reliable, it was fun, and it worked. They made flying feel simple again. They did not compete with the big airlines. They created their own lane. This is what it means to make competition irrelevant. It does not mean your product is the only one on earth. It means your offer is so different, so well matched to your audience, that people do not compare you to anyone. They just choose you because you are speaking their language, solving their problem. Creating something they feel is made for them. So how do you create your own blue ocean blueprint? First, stop looking at what everyone else is doing. Turn your eyes to your customers. Watch them, talk to them, walk in their shoes. Second, look for groups that are being ignored. People who feel like nothing fits them, nothing works for them. These groups are often ready for something new. Third, rethink value. Not everything has to be faster or cheaper. Value can be ease, joy, time saved, stress removed, confidence gained. Sometimes value is just feeling understood. Fourth, cut out what does not matter. You do not have to offer everything. Offer what matters most. Then make it simple, make it beautiful, make it yours. Fifth, test your idea. Talk to real people. Ask them how your idea makes them feel. Does it excite them? Do they understand it? Would they use it? Would they talk about it? Their answers will guide you. Finally, believe in your space. Others may not see it at first. That is okay. Blue oceans are not built on approval. They are built on vision. You will need patience. You will need courage. You may feel alone at first, but if your idea is real, if your value is strong, people will come. They will find you. They will follow you. They will talk about you. Because what you offer is something they did not know they were waiting for. That is the beauty of a blue ocean. It starts with a question, a feeling, a spark. Then it becomes something real, and once it does, it becomes yours. Not copied, not borrowed.
Yours. So the next time you are told the market is too crowded, remember this: you are not here to fight for space in someone else's world. You are here to build your own.
Innovation is one of the most overused words in business. People throw it around like it means everything, but most of the time it means nothing. It gets mixed up with invention, and the truth is they are not the same. Invention is when you Create something completely new, something that never existed before, like the light bulb or the airplane. It is exciting, it changes the world, but it is also rare. Innovation is different. It is when you take something that already exists and make it better, easier, cheaper, more useful, more beautiful, more human. It is less about technology and more about insight, and it matters more than most people think. Most of the things we use every day were not invented from scratch. They were improved step by step, based on real needs. Innovation lives in those small steps. Think of the iPhone. It was not the first phone, not the first camera, not the first music player, but it was the first time someone combined all those things in one device in a way that felt simple, useful, delightful. That is innovation. So how do you do that? How do you create something people did not even know they needed? You start by paying attention, not to trends, not to other companies, but to people. You listen, you watch. You notice what frustrates them, what slows them down, what confuses them, what makes them smile, what they try to fix on their own. These are signals, quiet ones, but powerful. Innovation starts by asking the right questions. What would make this task faster? What would make this process more fun? What would remove stress? What would create surprise? People will not always tell you the answer because they may not even know what they want, but they will always show you the problem. Your job is to see it. One of the best examples of this is Post-it notes. They were not created from a big idea. They were a happy accident, a failed glue experiment. But one person saw a use for that weak glue, a way to mark pages without damaging them, and that became one of the most used office tools in the world. Here is what that story tells us. Innovation does not always shout. Sometimes it whispers, and that whisper can grow. If you are listening, let us go deeper now. How do you actually improve something in a way that matters to customers? Start by choosing one thing, one product, one process, one moment. Break it down. Look at every step from the customer's side. Ask, what feels slow? What feels awkward? What feels like work? These are chances to add value. Then ask what could be removed. Most people try to add features, but the smartest innovations often come from subtraction. Look at Google's homepage. It is still mostly blank, just a search bar, simple, fast. That is not by accident, that is by design. Now think about how to test your idea without spending too much. This is where the lean startup method helps. The idea is simple. Do not build the final product first. Build a smaller version, a test, something rough but real, just enough to see how people respond. Let us say you want to launch a new kind of planner. Do not print 1,000 copies. Start with a digital version. Share it with a few people. Watch how they use it, what parts they love, what parts they skip. You learn faster this way, you waste less money, and you avoid building something nobody wants. The truth is, most innovations fail not because they are bad, but because they are built in the wrong way. Some are built in a vacuum, without listening. Some are built too big. Before testing, some are built for the wrong people, and some are built with love for the idea, but not for the user. To avoid those mistakes, stay close to your customer. Build in small steps. Test often. Be willing to change. Be humble enough to admit when something is not working. Now let us talk about a simple way to think through ideas. It is called the pain, dream, fix method. Pain is what your customer is struggling with, the frustration, the wasted time, the confusion. Dream is what they wish was true, the ideal outcome. The feeling they are hoping for. Fix is your idea, your tool, your solution that bridges the gap between the pain and the dream. When you can clearly define all three, you have a strong idea. Here is an example. Pain. I cannot find a healthy lunch that is fast and affordable near my office. Dream. I want something quick, tasty, healthy, and not too expensive. Fix. A subscription lunch service that delivers fresh salads and wraps daily with simple online ordering and weekly billing. That is a clear path. It speaks directly to a real need. You can also try another method called Scamper. It stands for substitute, combine, adapt, modify, put to another use, eliminate, reverse. Take your current idea or product and walk through these actions. Substitute one part for something else. Combine two features, adapt from another industry, modify the shape or process, use it in a new way, remove what is not needed, reverse the order or experience. Each one gives you a new lens, a new spark. Let us take a case study now. Spotify entered a market that already had music players and stores. People were downloading songs, buying CDs, making playlists. But Spotify saw something different. People just wanted access, not ownership. So they created a way to stream, pay monthly, skip downloads, get instant music anywhere. That shift changed
How we listen, because it made life easier, more seamless. Again, they did not invent music.
They did not invent playlists, they simply made it all smoother. That is innovation that matters. Innovation does not mean building the most complex thing. It means solving the real problem in the simplest way. It means being brave enough to ask, what if? And being patient enough to listen for the answer. So the next time you want to build something new, do not try to impress people. Try to understand them. Try to help them. Try to make something that fits into their life like it always belonged there. That is the kind of innovation that lasts, the kind that people talk about, the kind that spreads. Because it feels right, because it feels needed. And because once people have it, they cannot imagine life without it. That is innovation that actually matters. We live in a world full of noise. Everywhere you look, someone is selling something. Scroll your phone for 5 seconds. You will see ads. You will hear promises. You will find brands trying to grab your attention. But how many do you remember? Not many. Most brands blend together. They use the same words, the same photos, the same colors, the same tone. And when everything looks the same, nothing stands out. Being good is not enough anymore. Being useful is not enough. If people do not notice you, they cannot buy from you. They cannot love your brand. They cannot share your story. This is where the art of being remarkable begins. To be remarkable means to be worthy of remark. It means someone sees your brand and feels something.
Enough to stop, enough to talk.
Enough to come back. So the real question is not just what do you sell? It is what do you make people feel? Think about a moment when a brand surprised you, made you smile, made you pause. Maybe it was a funny email, maybe it was the packaging. Maybe it was a little handwritten note in your order. These moments matter. They are small, but they make you care. They make you want to remember. This is not about being loud. It is about being real, being different, being human. Let us start with attention. What makes people stop? It is not big words. It is not flashy ads. It is something that feels new or familiar in a new way. Surprise is one. Humor is another. Honesty works too. So does beauty. But it has to feel true. People can smell fake. If you try too hard, they walk away. Now let us talk about why some brands stick in your mind. It comes down to emotion. When you connect with people emotionally, you earn a space in their memory. You create a little moment in their day. And that Moment builds trust. The brain remembers things that feel personal, that feel different from the usual, that feel like they were made just for you. This is why strong brands feel like people. They have a voice, a personality, a vibe. Think of brands like MailChimp. They send marketing emails, a boring task, right? But their brand is fun, quirky. Their words sound like a friend helping you figure things out. Or look at Innocent Drinks. They sell smoothies, but their labels tell jokes. Their tone is playful. It feels like someone cheerful is talking to you from the bottle. These brands did not become famous because of huge budgets. They became loved because they were honest, consistent, and different. So how do you build a brand that people actually like? First, you need to know who you are. What do you care about? What do you stand for? What kind of energy do you want people to feel when they meet your brand? Are you bold, calm, curious, honest, fierce, gentle? Choose a voice and stay with it. Let it show up in everything. Your website, your emails, your packaging, your replies on social media, your product descriptions. People like brands that feel like real people, with feelings, with quirks, with stories. That is how connection starts. Next, let us look at your marketing. How do you stay memorable without being annoying? The answer is to add value in unexpected ways. Do not just talk about your product. Teach something useful. Share something funny. Tell a real story. Show your process. Celebrate your customers. Make your content about them, not just about you. If someone opens your email or watches your video or reads your post and they learn something or laugh or feel something good, they will remember you. If they only feel sold to, they will forget you. Now let us go deeper. How do you use story to turn a browser into a buyer? You do not need a dramatic tale. You need a true one. Storytelling works because it makes people care. It pulls them in. It shows, not tells. Start with a simple story. The story of how you began. What problem you saw. What you struggled with. What you believed in. Why you decided to do it your way. Let people into your world. Then tell the story of your customer. Not just their name. Their real struggle. What they were feeling. What they tried before. How your product helped them. What changed after. These are the stories that turn cold traffic into warm trust. Because people see themselves in the story. They say, that sounds like me. They say, maybe this will work for me too. That is how stories sell. They do not push. They invite. They do not brag. They connect. Let us take a real example. There is a company called Bombas. They sell socks, a simple product. But their story is clear. For every pair sold, they donate a pair to someone in need. They talk about the problem of homelessness. They show where their donations go. They share letters from people who received their socks. Their marketing is full of warmth and purpose. Their copy is simple. Their tone is kind. And their story is strong. That is why people remember them. Another example is BlendJet. They sell small portable blenders. They could have just listed features, but they filled their page with lifestyle, with videos, with bold colors, with real people using the product in everyday life. It feels fun. It feels fresh. It makes you want one. They turned a blender into a brand. That is the power of being remarkable. It is not about adding more. It is about being clear, being honest, being human. Think of every part of your business as a chance to stand out. Your welcome email, your thank you note, your product box, your Instagram caption. Every detail is a chance to make someone smile, to make them feel seen, to make them feel like this brand gets me. You do not need to be flashy. You do not need to be loud. You just need to be clear on who you are and why that matters. In a sea of sameness, being real is rare. Being consistent is rare. Being thoughtful is rare. That is what makes you stand out. So go back to your brand. Ask yourself, what is the one thing
I want people to remember after seeing this? What do I want them to feel? What story am I telling? Then show up in a way that matches that day after day, message after message, post after post. That is how you build a brand people love, not just because
of what you sell, but because of how you make them feel. That is the art of being remarkable. Every business wants to grow. Most focus on getting more people, more traffic, more clicks, more sales. But the real secret is not always in more. It is in better. Better relationships, better care, better experience. In a world full of options, customers do not stay loyal by accident. They stay because something feels right. They stay because they are treated well. They stay because you make them feel seen. Customer experience is your secret weapon. Especially in crowded markets, products can be copied, prices can be matched, features can be improved, but the way you make someone feel is something they remember. And that memory turns into trust. Trust turns into loyalty, and loyalty turns into growth. Let us take a step back. What do people really want when they buy something? They want to feel confident in their choice. They want to be understood. They want things to be easy, smooth, friendly. They want to feel like they matter. If you can give them that, you are not just building a sale. You are building a bond. That is where the love affair begins. It starts with the very first moment they see your brand before they ever buy. Maybe it is your website. Maybe it is your ad. Maybe it is something a friend said. Whatever the moment, it leaves an impression. So ask yourself, what do people feel when they meet your brand for the first time? Do they feel welcome? Do they feel understood? Do they feel like this is for them? That is the beginning of the journey. Next comes the moment of decision. The moment someone chooses you. It is easy to forget how powerful that moment is. A person took a chance on you. Out of all the options, they trusted you. That moment is where you can win their heart. A warm confirmation message, a personal thank you, a fast delivery, clear updates. These things sound small, but they make a big difference. They say you care. And when people feel cared for, they come back. One company that understands this is Chewy. They sell pet supplies. But their real product is kindness. When a customer's pet passes away, they send flowers, handwritten notes. They refund orders without asking. They treat every customer like a friend. And the result is loyalty most brands can only dream of. Another example is Zappos. They are famous for their customer service. Their support calls last as long as needed. No scripts, no pressure. One call lasted over 10 hours, and the customer was happy the whole time. Why? Because Zappos trains their team to solve problems, to listen, to care. And when people feel that, they remember. So how can you build that kind of care into your business? You start with simple systems, not complicated tools, not expensive software, just habits. Make sure your team knows your values, knows your voice, knows your customer. Have clear ways to respond fast, to solve problems, to say thank you, set reminders to check in after a sale. Ask how things are going. Ask for honest feedback. Create small moments of joy. A bonus item. A kind note. A surprise gift. These things turn one-time buyers into fans. Fans tell their friends. Fans defend your brand. Fans grow your business. Now let us talk about the full journey. Because a great experience is not just one moment, it is every step. This is where customer journey mapping helps. It is a way to walk through your business as if you were the customer. Start.
At the beginning, how do they hear about you? What do they see first? Is it clear?
Is it friendly? Does it help them feel confident? Next, the research phase. Do you answer their questions? Do you make it easy to compare, easy to trust? Then the purchase. Is it smooth? Is it fast? Is it simple? Do they know what happens next? After the sale, do they get updates? Do they feel supported? Can they reach you if needed? Long term, do you check in? Do you share tips? Do you reward loyalty? Do you stay in touch? Every step is a chance to build love or lose it. When you map it out, you find the weak spots, you find the friction, you find the gaps, and once you know them, you can fix them. You can turn confusion into clarity. You can turn stress into ease. You can turn silence into care. And the more care you give, the more love you build. It is not about being perfect. It is about being present, being honest, being thoughtful. Think about Apple. Their stores feel clean, bright, friendly. Their packaging feels special. Their support feels fast. They build an experience around simplicity. It matches their product, and people stay loyal for years. Now think about your own business. You do not need a big team to do this. You just need to care more than most. Make it a goal to delight your customers, to understand them better than anyone else, to make them feel seen. And when you do that, something special happens. You no longer have to fight for attention. Your customers become your voice. They bring new people to you because they trust you, because they like you, because they love how you make them feel. This is the power of the customer. Love affair. It is not a trick. It is not a campaign. It is a commitment to being kind, to being clear, to being there. And that commitment builds something strong. Not just sales, but relationships. Not just loyalty, but love. And in a crowded market, that is what makes you unforgettable. That is what makes you different. That is what makes you last. There is a story about two small brands. One made handmade soaps, the other sold eco-friendly candles. Both had good products, both worked hard, but they were growing slowly, too slowly. Then one day they talked. The soap brand added the candle to their gift sets. The candle brand featured the soap on their site. They shared customers, they shared ideas, they shared trust. Both businesses doubled in size within months. That is the power of partnership. When done right, it is one of the smartest ways to grow. It does not require huge money. It does not require big teams. It simply requires one thing: a mindset of win-win. Many people think they have to build everything on their own, but the truth is no one grows alone. Behind every great brand, there are allies, there are partners, there are quiet collaborations happening behind the scenes. This chapter is about how to find those partners, how to work together in a way that helps everyone win, how to grow by building bridges, not just by building more things. Let us start with one clear idea. The best partnerships come from non-competing businesses. If you sell coffee beans, partner with a bakery. If you offer yoga classes, team up with a smoothie shop. If you build websites, work with a branding coach. You are not
Trying to take from each other.
You are trying to add value. You each bring something different to the table, and together you offer more reach, more trust, more momentum. Now let us talk about why this works so well. People buy from people they trust. If someone already loves a brand, they are far more likely to listen when that brand recommends someone else. That is called trust transfer. It is quiet, but powerful. When you build a smart partnership, you borrow credibility and you lend it back. Your audience gets to know someone new. Their audience gets to know you. It is faster than building trust from scratch. It is warmer than running cold ads. And, best of all, it builds relationships that last. So how do you find these partners? Start close. Look around your network. Think of people you already know. People who serve the same kind of customer as you, but in a different way. Make a list. Reach out with honesty. Not with a pitch, not with pressure, just curiosity. Say this: I like what you do. I think we serve similar people. Would you be open to chatting about ways we could help each other? Most people say yes because they want the same thing you want. Growth without the grind. Next, get clear on the value you bring. No one wants a one-sided deal, so ask yourself, what can I offer? It could be space on your email list, a guest post on your blog, a spot in your podcast, a co-hosted event, an intro to someone they need to meet. A bundle that includes both your products. It does not have to cost money. It just has to create value. Now think about the customer. Every partnership should start with this question: will this make life better for the people we serve? If the answer is yes, you are on the right track. If the answer is no, stop. Because no amount of exposure is worth losing trust. The best partnerships make things easier. They make the experience smoother. They offer something that feels like a gift. Let us look at a case study. GoPro makes cameras. Red Bull sells energy drinks. On the surface, they have nothing in common, but they both speak to the same kind of person: adventurous, bold, active. So they partnered. Red Bull sponsored extreme sports events. GoPro filmed them. Both brands got massive attention, and both looked stronger together. That is smart alignment. Another case comes from small business. A local wedding photographer joined with a florist and a baker. Together, they created a wedding package: simple, stress-free, one call instead of 3. Couples loved it, and so did the businesses. Each one made more than they would have alone. No extra cost, just extra connection. That is the partnership power play. Let us break it down into steps you can follow. Step 1. Know your customer. Deeply. Who are they? What do they need? What do they love? What do they hate? Step 2. Find people who serve that same person in a different way. Look for businesses with shared values, shared tone, shared care. Step 3. Reach out. Be kind, be clear, be human. This is not a pitch. It is a conversation. Step 4. Create something useful together. Think like your customer. What would make their life easier, better, more fun? Step 5. Test small. You do not have to launch a huge campaign. Start with a shared blog post, a simple email swap, a tiny joint offer. See how people respond. Step 6. Build the relationship. Check in. Celebrate wins. Fix what does not work. Be someone they want to work with again. Step 7. Keep learning. Every partnership teaches you something. What worked, what didn't, what to try next time. It gets better every time. The truth is, partnerships are not just about growth. They are about connection. They remind us that business is not a solo game. It is a network, a team, a web of people helping people. And when you play the long game, that web becomes strong. It holds you up. It moves you forward. It keeps you growing, so stop trying to do it all alone. Look around, find your allies, and build something better together. That is the power play. That is how small brands grow smart. That is how big brands stay fresh. Not by shouting louder, but by linking arms and moving together. The internet is crowded, very crowded. Everyone is online, every brand, every product, every idea, all shouting, all trying to get noticed. So here you are, you have something great, but it feels like no one is listening. You post, you share.
You write, but it feels like shouting into the wind. You are not alone. This is what the digital world feels like for many people. It is fast, it is loud, it is full of noise, but here is the truth. You can still win, you can still grow, you can still stand out, not by being louder,
but by being smarter. Let us start with something basic. Having a website is not enough anymore. Years ago, having a clean site with a nice logo and a few pages was enough. It meant you existed. It gave you credibility. Now it is just the starting point. People visit your site for a reason. To learn, to compare, to feel, to decide, and they decide fast. So the question is not, do you have a site? The question is, does it work for them? Does it speak clearly? Does it answer questions before they ask? Does it make it easy to act? Does it feel like
a real person behind it? That is what people want. They want to feel understood. They want to feel guided. They want to feel safe making a choice. Now let us talk about content. Content is everywhere. Blogs, videos, podcasts, posts, tips, quotes. So much of it says
the same thing, but most of it gets ignored. Why? Because most content talks at people, not with them. Content marketing that works does one thing well. It makes people feel seen. It speaks in a human voice. It solves small problems. It shares small wins. It gives without asking. Think of your content like a conversation. If someone is confused, help them understand. If someone is frustrated, show them a better way. If someone is looking, show them something worth finding. One piece of helpful content can build more trust than 10 ads. Let us look at a real example. There is a company called Glossier. They sell beauty products, but their rise came from content. Before they launched, they ran a blog. It talked about real routines, real people, real skin. They built a voice that felt like a friend. When they finally launched their products, people were already listening, already trusting, already sharing. That is the power of content done right. Now let us talk about social media. It is easy to treat it like a numbers game. More likes, more views, more followers. But followers are not the goal. Relationships are. A small audience that cares is more powerful than a large one that scrolls past. So how do you build those relationships? Be real. Talk like a person. Reply to comments. Celebrate your buyers. Show behind the scenes. Share your story. Ask questions. Make space for people to feel like they are part of something. People want connection, not perfection. They want honesty, not hype. They want warmth. Not just branding. One bakery did this beautifully. They posted about their early mornings, the dough, the music they played while working, the mistakes, the laughs. And people loved it. It felt like walking into the kitchen. It felt like being part of the story, and their followers turned into customers. Not because of a sale, but because of a bond. Now let us dive into SEO. Search engines are how many people find what they need. But getting seen is tough, especially when big companies dominate the space. Still, there is a way. You do not need to rank for every keyword. You need to rank for the right ones. Longer keywords, more specific, more human. Instead of trying to rank for shoes, try ranking for best waterproof hiking shoes for women. These are called long-tail keywords. They
Have less traffic.
but better intent. The people searching are clearer about what they want, and if your content matches, you get their trust. You also win by answering questions. Write posts that start with how to, or what is, or why does. Google rewards answers, and when people land on your site and stay to read, that helps you climb the ranks. You also need good titles, simple, clear, honest. Avoid clickbait. Use language people actually use and keep your pages fast, mobile-friendly, easy to navigate. Google notices all of this, but most of all, write for people. Not just for algorithms, because people are who buy, who share, who remember. Now let us pull it all together. This is your digital playbook. Step 1. Make your website simple, clear, and helpful. Step 2. Use content to educate, inspire, or entertain. Do not sell all the time. Help. Step 3. Build relationships on social media. Show up as a person, not just a brand. Step 4. Use SEO smartly. Pick keywords that match what people are really searching for. Answer questions. Stay useful. Step 5. Keep showing up. Because digital domination does not come from one viral post. It comes from consistency, from care, from listening, from trying. Again, that is how you win in crowded spaces, not with tricks, with trust, not with shouting, with showing. Let us end with one more case. There is a company called Beard Brand. They sell beard oil, a small product in a big market, but their videos made them stand out. They did not just show the product, they talked about confidence, about self-respect, about style. They built a world around the beard, and people came, not just to buy, but to belong. That is what digital domination really means. Not just getting seen, but being remembered. Not just driving clicks, but creating community. Not just filling a funnel, but building a following, and you can do that. One post, one page, one reply, one real voice at a time. Every brand wants more customers. That is how most businesses grow. But the smartest brands know something deeper. It is not just about getting new people. It is about keeping the ones you already have. Because the truth is simple. Getting a new customer is hard, expensive, time-consuming. Keeping one is easier and much more powerful. When a person chooses you once, that is trust. When they choose you again, that is loyalty. And loyalty is how great businesses are built. Let us begin with why people stay. It is not just about product. It is not just about price. It is about how they feel. People stay with brands that make them feel good, safe, understood, respected. This is not a guess. It is psychology. When a person has a positive experience, their brain remembers it. It stores that feeling. And the next time they need something, they go back to what feels familiar. Loyalty comes from emotional connection. That connection is built in small moments. A thank you message, a fast reply, a surprise discount, a helpful guide, a feeling that they are not just a number. Now think about your own favorite brands. Why do you keep going back? Maybe they get your style. Maybe they make you feel confident. Maybe they remember your name. Maybe they solve your problem better than anyone else. That feeling is what keeps people close. It is what makes people stay, even when others offer a lower price, because they are not just buying a product, they are buying peace of mind. Let us take a look at Starbucks. There are many places to buy coffee, but Starbucks made it personal. They learned your name, they remembered your order, they gave you a card that added rewards, and over time, they built a habit, they built a relationship. That is what a loyalty engine looks like. Now let us talk about how to build your own. Start with a reason to come back. That could be a point system, a punch card, a discount after the third order. But the key is to make it simple and make it feel real. Do not hide the rules. Do not make people jump through hoops. Give rewards that matter, things that feel like a gift, not a gimmick. A great loyalty program feels personal. It says, we see you, we value you, we want you to stay. Next, think beyond points. The strongest loyalty is not built with transactions. It is built with connection. You want people to feel like they are part of something. That is where community comes in. Let us look at Peloton. They sell bikes, but what they really sell is belonging. You get classes, you get instructors who remember your name. You get shout-outs. You get groups. You get a family. And when people feel like they are part of something bigger, they do not leave. Because they are not just customers. They are members. Your brand can do this too. You can create spaces where people talk, where they ask questions, where they share wins, where they help each other. This could be a private group, a forum, a regular email, a name for your fans. Even something as simple as a hashtag can make people feel seen. Community builds loyalty by giving people identity. They say this brand is part of who I am, and that kind of loyalty is deep. Now let us learn from some of the big players. Amazon is the king of ease. Their Prime program is not just fast shipping, it is trust, it is comfort, it is knowing exactly what to expect. They remove friction, they make everything feel smooth, and when you make life easier, people come back. Apple is another example. Their loyalty comes from ecosystem. Your phone works with your laptop with your watch with your earbuds. It all connects. That kind of seamless experience locks in customers. They do not want to start over, so they stay. You can use the same idea, find ways to make your brand easier to use over time. Make people want to keep going, offer bundles, offer upgrades, offer things that get better with use. Make leaving feel like starting over. That is smart loyalty. Now let us bring it all together. How do you turn your customers into your best salespeople? You give them something to talk about when people love a product, they want to tell others, but they need a reason, a moment, a tool. You can help them. Give them a shareable story, a funny post, a photo-friendly package, a reward for referrals, a thank you when they send someone new. Make it easy to spread the word. Make them feel proud to do it. Let us take Glossier. They made their packaging cute, shareable. People took pictures of it, posted about it. Suddenly customers became marketers, all because the brand gave them a reason to share. Now think about your own brand. What is the story people tell when they talk about you? Are they excited? Are they proud? Are they even sure how to describe you? Give them the words, the feeling, the spark. And that is how you build word of mouth. That is how loyalty turns into growth. Because one happy customer is not just one sale. They are a ripple, a
voice, a magnet. And that is the power of a strong loyalty engine. It works while you sleep, because people remember you, because they want to come back, because they want others to know. It starts with care, it grows with value, and it lasts with connection, not
because you chased them, but because you made them feel at home. There is a moment that happens in almost every business. A competitor drops their price. Suddenly your customers start asking for discounts, or worse, they leave, and you feel the pressure. You wonder if you should drop your prices too. You feel stuck. It is scary. It feels unfair. You work hard. You deliver quality. But now it feels like the only way to win is to be cheaper. That is how price wars begin. But here is the truth. Competing on price alone is a losing game, because someone can always go lower. There will always be a business willing to make less, sometimes even to lose money just to gain market share. If you try to keep up, you risk running your business into the ground. You lower your price, you lose your margin, you lose your energy, and in the end you still lose the customer. So the smart path is not to race to the bottom. The smart path is to rise above it. You do that by building value, by showing people why your price is not just fair, but worth it. Let us start with understanding what people actually pay for. It is not just the product. It is the feeling, the ease, the trust, the result. When people buy a mattress, they're not just paying for foam, they are paying for better sleep. When people buy flowers, they're not just paying for petals, they're paying for a moment, a smile, a memory. So if you only talk about your product, you are missing the point. You need to talk about what your product does for people, how it makes life better, how it solves a problem, how it saves time, how it adds joy, how it removes stress. This is where value-based pricing comes in. Value-based pricing means you charge based on the result, not the cost. It means you focus on outcomes, not inputs. It means you ask, what is this worth to the customer, not what does it cost me to make? Let us look at a simple example. A plumber fixes a leak in 10 minutes. Should the price be 10 minutes of labor? Or should the price reflect the peace of mind, the damage avoided, the time saved? People will pay more when they feel what they are getting is worth it. So your job is not to be cheap. Your job is to be clear. Show the value. Make it visible. Make it feel real. Let us look at Apple. Their products are expensive, but they never lead with price. They lead with experience, design, speed, simplicity. They show the value in the details. And people pay more gladly, because they are not just buying a phone. They are buying status, ease, confidence. This is not just for big brands. Small businesses can do it too. A personal trainer charges more than a gym membership. Why? Because they offer results, guidance, motivation. A handmade soap costs more than supermarket soap. Why? Because it offers care, craft, a story. That story matters, because value lives in emotion. It lives in trust. It lives in how people feel when they use your product. So, how do you bring that feeling forward? One way is through bundling. When you group products or services together, you create more value without cutting price. You make it easier to say yes. Let us say you sell candles. One candle is nice, but a candle with a lighter and a handwritten card feels like a gift. That is a bundle. Now it is not just a product. It is an experience. Bundles work because they change the way people see price. They feel like they are getting more. They compare less, and they feel taken care of. You can also use packages. Packages create clarity. They show the customer what to expect. They reduce decision fatigue, and they give you a chance to anchor your price. For example, a web designer can offer 3 levels. Starter, growth, premium. Each level adds value, and the customer sees the differences. They do not just compare you to others, they compare you to you. This makes it easier to choose, and it makes the higher price feel reasonable. Now let us talk about when to fight on price. Sometimes it makes sense. If you are clearing stock, if you are testing demand, If you are entering a new market, a short-term drop can bring in people, but it should be part of a plan, not a panic move. If you lower price, do it with purpose. Set an end date, communicate the reason, and make sure it leads somewhere better. Most of the time, you should fight on value. Value lasts. Price cuts fade, value builds trust, trust builds loyalty, and loyalty builds long-term success. So what does this look like in real life? Let us take Warby Parker. They sell glasses. Before them, glasses were expensive. They entered with a lower price, yes, but they also added more. Free trial at home, easy returns, great design, friendly voice. They showed value. They made it feel easy, and people loved them for it. Now let us talk about psychology. People do not always choose the cheapest. They choose what feels safest, what feels familiar, what feels like a good deal. And a good deal is not just a low price. It is when what you get feels worth more than what you paid. That is what you want people to feel. So your job is to shape that feeling with story, with service, with small surprises, with care. When people feel that, they stay, even when others go lower, because they trust you, because you make it easy, because you make it feel worth it. In a price war, clarity wins, confidence wins, connection wins, so do not shrink your price. Raise your value, raise your voice, raise your story. People will listen. People will choose you, not because you cost
less, but because you give more. That is how you survive price wars. That is how you thrive.
At first, your world is small. You build your product, you find your first customers, you learn what works, you make mistakes, you get better, you grow, but then one day, something shifts. You wonder what is next. You feel ready to go further. You think about new markets, new people, new places. This is the moment where expansion begins. Not just growth in size, but growth in vision, growth in courage, growth in reach. But growth brings risk. Going too fast can hurt. Reaching too far can stretch your time, your money, your energy. So this chapter is about expanding in a smart way, a steady way, a way that helps you grow without losing what you already built. Let us start with testing. The smartest way to grow into new markets is to test first. Do not open a new store. Do not build a whole new product line. Start small, start light, start lean. You can test a new region by offering shipping there. You can test a new group by running a small ad campaign. You can test a new product by pre-selling it. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to learn. Learn who responds, learn what they want, learn what breaks, learn what works. Once you test, you adjust. You improve. Then you scale. This is what smart brands do. They do not guess, they explore. Let us take a real story. Warby Parker started with one product. Simple glasses, sold online. Then they opened one store, just one, to see what would happen. It worked. So they opened more, slowly, each time learning, each time improving. That is how you expand without risk. Next, let us talk about geographic growth. Maybe your product does well in one city or one country, and now you want to grow. Again, start small. Do your research. What does the new area want? What do they expect? What language do they speak? What holidays matter? What trends are growing? Just because something works in one place does not mean it will work everywhere. But the clues are there. Look for similar values, similar habits, similar needs. If you are a fitness brand doing well in California, maybe your next step is Texas or Florida, places where people care about health and style and movement. Do not pick a place just because it is big. Pick a place that fits. Now let us talk about products. Many founders feel stuck after their first win. They have one good product, but they want to grow, so they ask, what should I make next? The answer is in your customer. Ask them what they need, what they wish they had, what is missing in their day. Sometimes it is obvious. If you sell shampoo, conditioner is a natural next step. If you sell planners, maybe stickers or pens, but sometimes the answers surprise you. Maybe they want a course, or a guide, or a service. You do not need to guess, just listen. The best product extensions feel like a natural step. They serve the same person. In a new way, they keep the same style, the same promise, the same care. Let us look at Glossier again. They started with skincare, then makeup, then tools. Each new product fit the same story, the same customer. That is why it worked. Now let us talk about going global. International expansion feels big. And it is, but it is not just for giant brands. Small and medium businesses are going global more than ever. Why? Because the tools are ready. You can ship almost anywhere. You can translate your website. You can run ads in other countries. You can use global payment systems. But again, start small. Pick one country. Learn how people shop. Learn what matters to them. Learn how they pay, how they talk, how they buy. Build a small offer just for them. Use their currency. Use their language, use their holidays. Even a little effort shows care. And care builds trust. Let us look at a brand called Allbirds. They sell shoes made from wool, born in New Zealand, grew in the US, then launched in Europe. But they did not just copy and paste their model. They adjusted their message. They studied each place. They moved carefully. That is smart expansion, because going global is not just about shipping. It is about fit. It is about respect. It is about knowing your customer, even when they live far away. Now let us talk about risk. Every new move has some, but you can manage it. Start with money. Set limits. Decide how much you are willing to test and what success looks like. If it works, you keep going. If it does not, you pause. Track your time too. New markets need your attention. They need care. So make sure your team is ready. Or start with help. A partner, a contractor, someone who knows the space. Keep your main business safe. Do not risk your foundation for something new. Use data, watch what works, kill what does not. Do not grow for the sake of growing. Grow because it serves your customer, because it serves your mission, because it makes you better. The best kind of growth feels steady, clear, rooted. It does not shake what you built. It strengthens it. Let us bring it all together. To expand well, start by listening. Test before you build. Keep it simple. Watch what people do, go slow. Stay close to your values. Do not chase trends. Do not follow noise. Follow your customer. They will show you the way. The world is wide, but growth is not about going everywhere. It is about going where it makes sense. It is about doing more of what already works in new places, with new people, in a way that still feels like you. That is what the best brands do. They grow with care, they expand with purpose, and they build something that lasts. Every business has good days, the kind where everything feels light. Sales are coming in, customers are happy, your team feels steady, you can breathe, but no business lives in that season forever. There are times when things shift. The market slows down, customers stop spending, supply chains break, a product flops. A crisis hits out of nowhere. And suddenly what once felt easy now feels hard. This is the moment when resilience matters most. Resilience is not about staying perfect. It is not about always winning. It is about staying steady when everything around you shakes. It is about protecting what you have built and about being ready for what might come next. Many businesses fail not because their idea was bad, but because they were not prepared for the storm. They grew too fast, spent too
Much, ignored warning signs.
and when the hard season came, they had nothing to fall back on. But the businesses that last are different. They are built with a stronger core, a wider base, a smarter plan. They do not try to avoid every problem. They build systems that help them bend but not break. So how do you build that kind of business? You start with money. Money gives you space. Space gives you choices. Without it, every problem becomes urgent. And when everything is urgent, it is hard to think clearly. So you need a plan. Not just for when things go right, but for when they do not. Set aside savings. Even a little. Call it your emergency pocket, the one you touch only when the lights might go out. This money is not extra, it is essential. Think of it as your first layer of strength. Then look at your costs, know them, watch them, keep them honest. Sometimes when things are going well, we grow too fast, we hire too many, we buy more than we need, we stretch beyond what is stable. But resilience means being able to move quickly, to shrink for a season, to pause spending without panic. So build a budget that gives you room, not just for the best case, but for the tough one too. Now look at how you make money. One product, one service, one stream of income. It might feel simple, but it can be risky. If that one thing slows down, everything else can fall with it. That is why strong businesses build more than one stream, not all at once, not too fast. But over time, a coffee shop might add classes on how to brew at home. A fitness trainer might sell digital plans. A product-based brand might create a course, a guide, a subscription. Each new stream should serve the same customer in a new way. It should feel natural. It should add value. This way, if one stream slows, the others keep you going. Now let us talk about the unexpected, because no matter how well you plan, some things will catch you off guard. That is why you need a crisis plan, not a complicated document. Just a simple list of what to do when everything goes wrong. First, protect your people, your team, your customers, your partners. Let them know what is happening. Be honest, be steady, do not disappear. People do not expect you to be perfect, they expect you to be present. Next, protect your reputation. Say less if you are not sure. Say only what is true, and say it in a calm, human way. A business that communicates clearly in crisis earns trust, even if the news is hard. Now think about the practical side. Make a list of your key systems. Where are your orders managed? Where is your customer list? Who are your top vendors? What are your payment obligations? If you had to step away for a week, who could take over? If a supplier failed, who could replace them? These are questions you answer now, so you are not guessing later. Let us look at a real example. In 2020, the world changed fast. Many businesses closed their doors. Some never
Opened again, but some adapted. Restaurants started doing takeout. Yoga studios went online.
Retail shops began curbside pickup. These shifts were not easy, but they were possible. Because the people behind those businesses acted fast. They stayed close to their customers, they kept communicating, they stayed flexible. One local bakery had to close its walk-in space. But the owner quickly set up a simple form online, pre-orders only, pickups by appointment. It was clunky at first, but it kept the ovens on, it kept the team paid, and it kept the brand alive. That is resilience, not waiting for the perfect plan, but moving with what you have. Now think long-term. Resilience is not just about crisis. It is about building a rhythm that can hold you steady through any season. It means building habits that keep your business clear and your mind calm. Regular reviews, honest feedback, strong relationships, a simple dashboard of what matters most: sales, cash, customer happiness, team morale. These are the signals you watch, and when one dips, you act. Not later, now. Let us talk about people. Your team is part of your strength, but they need direction. They need care. In tough times, they watch you. If you panic, they feel it. If you stay calm, they breathe easier. So lead with clarity. Even when the path is rough, say what you know, say what you are doing. Say what happens next. You do not need all the answers. You just need to keep showing up. Now look at your customers. They are also part of your strength. Stay close to them. Ask what they need. Tell them what you are doing. In hard times, customers become even more loyal when they feel seen, when they feel like you are still trying, still caring, still here. That kind of connection goes beyond the product. It becomes personal, it becomes trust, and trust is the real currency of resilience. You may lose a sale, you may lose a quarter, but when you keep trust, you have not lost your business. You have kept the one thing that brings people back. Let us end with this. Building a strong business is not about avoiding storms. It is about learning how to stand in them, how to move with them, how to hold your ground without breaking. This is the resilience factor. It is built in quiet decisions, in small habits, in daily care. It is built when things are easy, so it can hold when things are not. You do not need to be perfect. You just need to be steady, and you can be. Because resilience is not something you wait for, it is something you build, one plan, one system, one calm choice at a time. You have come a long way. From understanding saturated markets to finding your voice. From learning how to stand out to building real relationships. You have looked at pricing, growth, innovation, digital presence, and partnerships. You now have a toolbox filled with strategies. But strategy alone is not enough. What matters next is how you use it all. How you bring it together in one clear plan. A plan that fits your brand. A plan that works for you. A plan that can keep growing with you. This final chapter is your victory lap. Not because the work is done, but because now you have the mindset and the map to do it right. So let us talk about what long-term success really means. It means you do not chase everything. You focus, you commit, you execute with care. You build a system that lets you grow with less guesswork. You track progress not by noise but by real movement. You stay consistent even when things get slow, and you plan for change before it forces its way in. This is how winning becomes something you do daily, not something you only feel once. Let us begin by looking at the whole picture. All the chapters in this book lead you somewhere. Every step has built on the one before it. You have learned how to enter a crowded market with courage, how to find your unique edge, how to connect deeply, how to grow with intention. Now you need to tie it all together. That starts with clarity. What is your goal? Not just a number, but a direction. A clear reason for why you do what you do. Is it to become the trusted brand in your space? Is it to build a team and scale? Is it to create steady income and freedom? Whatever your goal is, write it down, keep it visible. Next, pick the pieces that fit your goal. If you are trying to scale fast, you need systems. If you are trying to serve deeply, you need connection. If you want to grow slow but steady, you need stability. Each strategy in this book has a place, but you do not need to use all of them at once. Pick the few that match where you are now. Then build habits around them. Let us talk about the numbers. Not all metrics matter, but some do. You need to know your core numbers. How many people visit your site? How many buy? How many come back? What is your cost to get a customer? What do they spend over time? How long do they stay? These are not just business stats. They are signs of health. They help you see what is working and what is not. They help you make better decisions. You do not need to check them every hour, but you should check them every week. Create a simple scorecard. You can use a whiteboard, a spreadsheet, a tool. Whatever helps you stay clear and consistent. Now let us look at systems. Systems are what save your energy. They make sure things run even when you step away. A system is not a tool. It is a way of doing something that works every time. Your onboarding process, your email flow, your customer care steps, your weekly check-ins. These are systems. They keep things steady, they reduce stress, they let you focus on growth. So take a few hours each month to check your systems. Are they working? Are they too slow? Are they clear? Can someone else follow them? Document what works. Fix what is slow. Delete what no longer fits. Now we talk about evolution. Because markets change, people change. You will change too. Your plan cannot stay frozen. It needs to breathe, so set time to zoom out. Once every 3 months. Step back. Review. Ask what is working, what is stuck, what feels exciting, what feels heavy. Talk to your customers, look at your team, listen to the data, and trust your gut. This rhythm of checking in helps you stay aligned. It keeps your plan fresh. It reminds you that change is not failure. It is part of building something strong. Now let us bring it down to earth. Let us make this real. Here is a simple 90-day action plan. In month 1, you focus on clarity and cleanup. Write down your core offer. Make your website clear. Fix 1 week system. Reach out to one past customer and ask what they loved most. Post something useful 3 times a week. Watch what people respond to. In month 2, you focus on connection and consistency. Send 1 helpful email every week. Create a simple referral program. Start a content series. Fix another system. Test a new offer or bundle. In month 3, you focus on momentum and measurement. Look at your numbers, keep what works, drop what drains. Try 1 small campaign. Reach out to a possible partner. Plan the next 90 days. You do not need to do everything. You just need to keep moving. Success is not one big leap. It is a series of steady steps. A decision to keep going. A decision to keep caring. Let us look at a real example. A small brand that sold handmade notebooks started with a local market stall. Then they added a website. They started writing small blog posts about creativity. People shared those posts. Then they launched a starter pack with pencils and stickers. Sales doubled. Then they created a small course on journaling. People loved it. They created a referral program. They started shipping globally. They built systems for packing and shipping. They tracked what sold best. They removed slow sellers. Now they have a full-time team. They are not the biggest notebook brand, but they are loved. Because they built something steady, they kept it simple, they kept listening. That is a victory lap, not because they crossed some finish line, but because they created something real, something that works, something that grows with them. And you can do the same. You have the pieces, you have the power. You do not need to be perfect. You just need to keep showing up. Keep your goal clear. Keep your systems strong. Keep your heart in it. That is how you win. That is how you last. That is how you take your victory lap.